So, going through my own divorce and my own process, I realized something. My life was changing, and so is my financial situation, right? Or it should. My financial strategy, the things that I was doing to save money, the things that I was doing to prepare for my future, my kids' future, even just the way that I spent money, right? Or the way that I even thought about money needed to shift, needed to change. It needed to reflect the other changes that were going on in my life, right? And, as I'm talking to, my friends and different women and clients and so forth, I realized something. We go through all of these life experiences. Me, divorce, or me also relocating across, country, kids, leaving home, empty nesting, did that too, right? Or even the birth of a new child. Or, I was speaking with a sister of mine, a really, a friend, now a friend of mine, about her parents, transitioning from being self-sufficient to now her having to care for her or for them, more like on a more of a full-time basis. So that even, shifts, right? What is your money looking like then, right? So emotionally, you're dealing with all of these changes, the life transitions, even retirement sometimes, right? Preparing for that. And you're spending so much time worrying about how am I going to emotionally, get there, right? My mind be in alignment with what my new life looks like, and we're not spending enough time really understanding the techniques and the strategies that we have around money needs to shift too. So not only how you're spending it, right, but also how you view it, how you look at money, what you want it to do in the future, not just right now. So your money should reflect where you are present, right? It shouldn't reflect where you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, because that's not who you are anymore. That's not where you are anymore. 9 times out of 10, you have different goals and aspirations for your future. So you should be looking at your money quite often, right? But especially during these times and during these shifts, during these transitions. And, as women, we're always going through some sort of transition, right? So back to my first point, you should always be looking at your money, but especially the big ones: divorce, retirement, new marriage, new baby, babies going off to college or, leaving the home, doing what they do, right? You've prepared them for their future to be adults, and now you also have to prepare yourself. So, again, it's a mental thing. We definitely have to make sure that our emotions are lined up and we're ready to move forth in whatever direction that, our higher power or ourselves or God, whatever it is that you identify with, is leading us to go down whatever path we choose to go down. We have to make sure that, yeah, we're aligned mentally and physically and all of that as well, spiritually, but also financially. You have to be aligned. Your financial alignment and your emotional alignment, they go together, right? They just go hand in hand. And sometimes, especially as women, we can kind of forget that. We get lost sometimes, or I'm not going to say lost, but we get so focused on how we feel emotionally with things and making sure that we're getting from A to B, emotionally, and processing things the way that we need to process it, that sometimes the strategy behind money takes a backseat, right? We may know that we have to shift a few spending habits, right? But the planning that goes into it, that needs to shift. How you think about money needs to shift, right? So when you do that, I've also found when you do that, when you align your emotions and your finances together, that there is more clarity, that you do have more of a sense of ease, you know, peace, even because now it's the full package, right? You got your emotions together, you know where you're heading in life, you have your finances that's going to help you achieve whatever goal, whatever path that you're going down. And you just have, just that confidence of knowing that you're going to be okay no matter what, because you've already planned it out, right? I mean, we need money, right, to survive. Yes, money isn't everything. I can tell you that, right? Um, but it's a very important factor. Without it, we really can't make the moves that we want to make, right? And just as things are shifting, just for for women in general, just the energy to me just seems like it's just shifting for women to have more clarity, more balance, more confidence in finances as they're taking on new roles. As we're making these transitions, as we're going through these transitions, as we are succeeding through these transitions, we just have to keep that in mind that our emotions and our finances go hand in hand. You need a good strategy. You got to start thinking about it, right? But that's it. See you guys later.